Hi, back again. And I'm going to talk about a few more things on the weather in Europe here. And that is snow and snow blizzards, things like that, and flooding. So let's get into that one. And I'll start with my old haunt, England, London. So basically, what I'm seeing here is that the snow and the blizzards, they're going to start coming in late, kind of in December, late November, but it won't be, the cold weather is, but there is going to be a bit of a Indian summer here too, but mostly in south near London and the southern counties, and that is Indian summer will last until about the 5th or the 8th of November, which is quite a long time. We've still got October. October's getting cool, but for some reason there's some heat resurgence in London at that time. This actually affects Paris and a lot of France, Spain, Italy, kind of in this section here. This whole area here is affected by this kind of weird heat wave during that time, so it's like an Indian summer. Affects the crops, which I know it's not meant to, but it does. So there's snow, the real snowstorms, the blizzards that come, and it blankets the whole of Europe, and high mountains in Italy, but not so much in Spain, but it's really throughout this section, and it blankets for about 2 to 3 feet in certain areas. London gets a blizzard that's pretty nasty, and that's in around about 1st of March, end of February, 1st of March, and it's pretty brutal. It goes through, the winter lasts until about, I was going to say June 1, but really May 18th through maybe the end of the year. So this, it's about 5 major snowstorms and blizzards that are going to get hit, that mostly all these countries, Denmark, Amsterdam, Netherlands, all of these European countries are going to get kind of snowbound. Not so much as dense as below that level, but they do get snow, but it won't, and again, a few records are being broken for the cold, reaching colder temperatures. So it's not just snow blizzards, it's also freezing rain, hail, and hail is seen in Germany, I see a bit, Netherlands. It's a weird, particular storm that really, I don't think you do have it, but it comes in, and it's like 2 systems or something is creating this hail. It's not huge hail, not like I was seeing in America, but it's really in a tiny bit here. Anyway, so flooding. The flooding really starts off, obviously because of the melts, but I am seeing flooding other than the melts, and there's somewhere in Denmark, it's not exactly near a dam, but it's very low-lying area in Denmark, and it's floods where it's about 1 foot to 2 feet, and it's in April, May, that I'm seeing the flooding really affecting a lot of people, so please be careful. In Netherlands, it's really to do with, sorry, but a bit of the, it's not in Amsterdam, but it's really on the outskirts again. I'm seeing flooding, and maybe 6 to 8 inches flooding. So Germany, there's certain areas of low where it's really nothing really to do with the melts, but these are really rainstorms and electrical thunderstorms that are coming in and drenching. There's flooding in Germany, Paris, certain portions of France, Madrid, but these are not enough to save the water shortage, I'm afraid. The floods are kind of flash flooding, and they're really not helping the problem there. You'll see it in Italy, in Rome, and again, flash flooding, and Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, but small. It won't be as prevalent there as it is in this section here. Ireland will get quite a few floods, but it's low-lying areas, okay? And even, not exactly Oslo, but outside Oslo, Stockholm, outside, round about here. And not so much Finland, but they're going to get a few more rain than they have seen in about 8 years, I see. Okay, so that's rain, flooding, and snow blizzards. Okay, as for funky weather, not funky, but it's weird weather. That's what I was talking about, aligning. But not haboobs, but you will see that there are going to be fog banks coming in. It's as if the cold weather is really affecting weird things. So there's some even in Ireland here and off here as well, around here and off this coast. Even as far away as Norway, in certain banks, I don't know if they do get, but I'm seeing fog banks. Not lasting long, but it's just very dense fog that's moving into inland, not a mile or two. It's just very briefly moving in, but it's definitely not inland into the mainland. Okay, so that's that for now, and I'll move to the next video. Here's a quickie. It's Europe, and I want to talk about, it really should have gone under weird weather, but anyway, king waves. And king waves are really, they say they can project it, but quite frankly, I'm seeing these ones as really weird waves, and I've seen them before and they've come true, sadly, but it's coming in from this side, and it's hitting this portion of Ireland and the real coast, Wales and stuff like that, where I'm seeing anything from 5 to 15 to even 1. There's out here, I don't know if it'll get caught with anybody in there. The swells are 80 feet high. But these are considered king waves, and it really is affecting all of this area in France. In here I'm seeing it built up, and here. So this should be reported. Please let me know if you do experience it or see it in the news, but I am seeing it from that section onwards are king waves again coming in. And it happens maybe 3 times next year, which is very unusual. Okay, that's king waves. And here we are in Europe again, and we're doing terrorist activity. I didn't check it. You can check from last year if I was right or whatever was going on. Sadly, I know I was right with certain predictions in France and in London and United Kingdom, so that there was certain bombings and terrorist activity. So, Belgium, yeah, there's going to be about 5 to as many as 8, maybe Brussels, 1 or 2. They're still trying to get to populated areas, but there are large cells operating from there. Netherlands, there's going to be about as many as 17, but they're all lone agents, lone wolf agents, but they're really anything from 1 to 8, and it seems that we've been trying to get a lot of youths there involved and turned into their mindless terrorism. So watch out for the Netherlands. Sadly, it's such a good country to be hit that way with their youth. Germany, there's two outside and 1 in Berlin, 1 outside. Frankfurt, there is a knife attack or something like that here. Denmark, there's some other types of terrorist action, and it's more political, and I'm seeing about 3 in Denmark. 4, Norway, several, it's really pretty relaxed, but it's as if they're, again, to do with some kind of political view. There's about maybe as much as 4. Sweden 2, and 1 could be a bombing, so I'm sorry about that, to be honest. 1 in Finland, Poland, there's about, but this is again a political strife, it's 4 or 5. France, they're still hitting France, I hate to say it, they're making that a target. I'm seeing as much as 5. 2, maybe 3 in Paris, within Paris, and they're at a museum, art museum is 1 I see anyway. The ones on transport, train or like underground or something like that there. In England, I'll go back again, maybe 1, not exactly Parliament, but there's some kind of political thing going on. It could be their seat of government, or some kind of political politics, but it's building, a governmental building. Dublin is going to have, I mean, the island is having its usual stuff, but sadly, let's see, France, Spain, there's going to be quite a bit of activity here in Spain, and I don't know if it's really the Basques, but it's really, again, confrontations and opposing views. There's a lot of high political clashes here in Madrid, a lot of riots really, more than anything else, but there could be 2 politically huge confrontations there. Italy, Rome, it's, I don't know if it's really ISIS or the Taliban. I'm seeing the Taliban, but I do see it in Rome, 1, a bit of a bombing, popular site, which is really sad because there's some beautiful old buildings there, and 1 elsewhere in Italy, but it's kind of a city that I'm seeing. All right. I know there's lots of other little things going on here with activity. I'm sorry to say Turkey, there's going to be about 12 at least, still rocked with political activity in that one, all right? Sadly. And, let's see, there's some really sad stuff going on in Sweden here, kind of affecting Norway, but it's Sweden, and it's something about youth, and they're getting very politically active and confrontational. A lot of riots going on there in Sweden. Germany, there's riots, but against the government and wanting change and demanding change, and it's again the youth more than anything else that are promoting that and pushing that agenda. So there are conflicts, just like in Spain too. London, I see it's really on the small groups, hate groups, and I hate to say that, but hate groups in London, in England, that are really trying to stir up and get more supporters for themselves too. What they see is only get their people, anybody who's different from them evicted from England, which, to be honest, hardly anybody is English. They're so integrated there, just like America, but not as bad. Not bad, but it's not as diverse as America is, but there's definitely a lot of racist activity and riots going on in England. It's really after June next year I'm seeing a lot of activity on that one. Okay, sadly, everything. Wonder what the Earth's going to survive on this one. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Quick one on Spain, and I had written this note. I thought I might as well add it to the end one. But basically, on riots for Spain, I'm still seeing, like last year, I'm sure I said it, that there's going to be a clash for independence of some kind, or a certain group, rather militant group, is really pushing for that agenda. And I see government clashes over there and wanting to succeed to another nation, as if they want to be separated from the Spanish government, and all kinds of other things, that they want independent votes, etc. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing, and that's going to start building up by March, and June there's some really violent clashes, which I said there was going to be some riots, but this is going to be exceptionally, sadly, more violent, and deaths associated with it, a lot of heated tempers. Anyway, sorry about that. On this is Europe, and this is an awkward subject, and I've also mentioned it for the Canadian and the American video, but basically it's all over Europe, everywhere in the world, sadly, and it's suicides. Now, the suicide rate has increased in certain countries more than others, and I'm seeing it increase even more so this year. I see that it is in England, not as hugely prevalent in Ireland, but England, France, Spain, a lot of these countries here have got, and these are youths, these are children, 8 through 28, 26, even 35. I'm not saying anybody above it, yes, of course, but I'm saying the majority. And these are souls that just can't manage with the changes that are going on in their lives or the country. I'm going to do just, I quickly wanted to do something on suicides, but also I will be putting out, just to let you know, a special video, which I've actually written for the book, quite a huge amount, on suicides, because it's so sad. It's a major sign of evolution, where we're facing such changes within ourselves, let alone exterior, but interior within our souls. And it's important to look at the signs. So if you have time, when I upload it, and it'll probably be after all the predictions have been uploaded, you'll probably be sick of me by then, I won't be surprised, but that's okay. But if you do view it, it will be at the end of this series of short videos. Okay, that's it for now, and I'm going to cover shootings in the next video. This one is on the hurricanes activity, which really I know for Europe, but I'm putting this one in because I am seeing as much as 5 storm systems being developing late August through September, but there's one that's coming in, and really the last one I predicted was impacting Portugal into Madrid, petering out there. But this one is actually coming more or less straight for Portugal, like this. And it's kind of looping round from here and hitting Portugal at an category 2. But it's really could be close to a 3. It's kind of develops to 3 to 4 they're projecting, but it downgrades to barely a 2, but it's really a 3 hitting Portugal. There's another one that's coming in from here, coming into towards Spain and the lower tip of Portugal, and that's like a category 4, and it looks very, very fierce and large. It's as if it's 2 systems, like a twin system joined or something like that. I'm seeing here it joins, and then it becomes one massive system, and then gets into and affects this whole area. And that's like a 4. It hits 3.5 to 4. They're projecting 5, but I don't think it'll be that. And I will try and update the videos at that time once they start developing, and I'll try and track you, give you a track if you want to keep in touch and check this channel. But I've been trying to do that to help people see if they need to evacuate or take precautions. So that's only some of the hurricanes that are going to hit this area. There's a lot coming in towards America, but it's really this one too, and there's going to be several here. There's one coming in from here. It's about a 1 or 2 coming into just above Dakar, and that will be late August that I see, around about the 27th, 28th. All right, hopefully that helps you. Earthquakes. Okay, so earthquakes. I always put those out, but I'm going to only just touch a few this time. And as I said, there's going to be more 7, high 7s, 8s, probably a 9, and I don't know, I haven't checked, to be honest. I know there has been an 8, a 7.9, and a few others, 7, high 7s, that have been going on. And I'm sorry to say that those did come true, but they're mostly near Australia and the Fijian Islands, which I'd said, New Zealand rather, and that's very important. So what I will say is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my notes as usual. I'm just going to go on the fly here. Earthquakes. I do see like a 7 point. It can be anywhere 5.5 to. Sorry, still trying to find that. Made so many notes here. There we go. Rome, and I'm seeing one in Rome, or just outside, and I know that I had said that before, where in Rome it was going to be inside the Rome, and it'll hit some beautiful old buildings, which was a church, some kind of devastating earthquake there. But I do see a 6.8 around here, but it's mostly off the coast, but it does affect Rome and all the buildings there within Vatican City. So it could be as high as 7.2, and it's here. All right, so off the sea. But I am seeing afterquakes as well, which will affect most of, not in the Italian coast, but other islands around. I'm seeing a 6.5 in Greece, but it's low level. It's not 10 or above, 10 meters or something. It's really much deeper than that. So that's going to be about here in Greece. This whole area is obviously rife with all kinds of other earthquakes, and I don't want to get into it too much. I used to give you a lot of information, but I don't think people are interested. The volcanoes I still see is slightly more active, is the one volcano here within this area, but I would say it's not going to go, kablooey this year, but it is going to be simmering there, so watch it. That's really it. I don't want to get too much into the earthquakes. It's going to be, England's going to see some small earthquakes. I know people used to think I'm really balmy for that, saying that, but there have been earthquakes, little ones in London and around that area, and it did happen. So it's getting more active, the earth, and I just keep on seeing like a 7.6 around here. So 7.2 here, but could be a 7.6, and all these subsequent aftershock earthquakes after that. Cyprus, there'll be 1 or 2 around here, a cluster out here too, and they are real clusters after a major one. All right, that's it for earthquakes. And volcanoes. Hello everybody, this is Darshini in spirit, and I am actually doing an update this time. It's being recorded on, let's see, January 7th, 2019, and I had actually thought I had done this, and I apologize, and this is something everybody should be doing, but apologizing if they made a mistake, which I did. And I was meant to do this droughts, water shortages and lightning for Europe, and it was a totally different video. So I thought I'd better do that since I had said that I would do it. Anyway, we're going to go in, and we're in Europe obviously, and let's go with droughts first. Now, whether this is what I'm seeing, as usual, this is all I can give you is what I see. There's going to be quite a few droughts that I'm seeing, and it's going to be in this area in Spain. I don't know if they're already suffering from droughts. I know there's water shortages, which I'm going to bring up next, but there's droughts here in Spain, and it's going to get worse by late August. It really starts about mid-July that there's the normal rainfall seems to be quite depleted. It's not really coming in as it should do. Despite what I'm seeing, there's a kind of band here where it is literally over from late April. You'll see kind of days, 1 day to maybe 2 to 3 days as it progresses into May to June, and it goes even 1 day or two in the first 2 weeks for 1 day, or one will last 2 days, where it's literally a heavy rainfall. So heavy, it's likened to monsoon. You're going to get flooding and flash flooding in that area. And that is to do with, and that's to do with also Portugal. It's quite a band of rain that's coming in here. And I'm going to talk about a hurricane they're going to be 2 hurricanes that's going to be affected in this area that's going to impact these areas, all right? And I'll talk about that in another video, updated information again. So we're going to see really water shortages, and I hate to say any vineyards, any crops. They're suffering in the last 2 to 3 years. I don't know if that's true. Somebody can let me know if that is. But I am seeing 2 to 3 years. It started really more so that it's having more of an impact for droughts, and it's affecting this area. Obviously, it's as if it's moving. The heat, high heat as well. We're going to do another video on that one. Regarding drought regions, I'm seeing in France, in this, not as severe as Spain, and in Rome, by the way, but it's got a different weather pattern as well. So you're seeing droughts there. Rome, it's not Rome really, it's Italy, and it's about here that they're seeing a lot of droughts in that area as well. Finland, Sweden, there seems to be less rain coming into these three from the Baltic and Norwegian seas. So it's as if they are having less rain than normal. It's a good, I would say, not even 17%, up to 17% less rain. And it's creating drought areas in the forests and here. And there's fires. And again, I'll try and put that in another video. I've got a list. I want to really give you far more information. So, because I'm seeing fires here, here, and here, and a few other countries, but a lot here, I'm afraid. So that is droughts. In Ukraine, well, this is Middle East, but anyway, Belarus, Moldova, Romania, Bulgaria, all of these are droughts, drought areas as well, where it's going to get less rain. And in northern Scotland, usually you get a lot of rain, but it's really towards this little pocket here that there's less rain coming in. So it's affecting some crops. Okay, and that's droughts. We're still going to stay in this video, and we're going to do for the water shortages, and that really goes to do with more to do with the droughts, but it's also to do with that there are certain problems with the government, and there are water shortages in Spain, weirdly enough in northern Portugal, not in mid or southern. There are certain areas here in France that are suffering water shortages. In Ireland, there's a few counties that are really affected. I don't know why, but anyway, some things I'm seeing there. Croatia, just outside Prague here. In Germany, in the suburbs here, there's some kind of water shortage. Tiny bit, really small area in Netherlands and in Belgium, but it's really around here as well. Okay, in Italy. So that's that area. So this is the lightning and fires video. Since it kind of goes hand in hand, I'm going to put heat in here as well. So this is for Europe, and I'm seeing that the lightning, which is far more intense, prolific, and it's a different type of lightning where it's not the normal storm. It seems to be going longer as well, but it's far more strikes, hence the fires, which are uncontrollable. So I am seeing this going on more so in Eastern Europe, around about this area. So I'm seeing not in the tips so much as this area in Norway, Sweden here, Finland, and certain isolated storms here in Poland, Germany. There are some deaths associated with lightning in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France, and this is also, there's through London too, but not northern, but again, southern London, some in Ireland, but not as much as in the rest of Europe. But you'll see that the lightning is prolific in this, where these storms are really intense, flash flooding, really huge downpours, don't know where they come from, you feel. And then also this part upwards, from Serbia upwards, and here, this whole area, that is affected by that lightning. It's a different type, and it's dry lightning, it's more dangerous, it's far more intense, and the fires. Now fires I'm seeing are in Finland. There's going to be about 23 wildfires in Finland, about 17 in Sweden throughout there. Norway, there's 11, and they're all over the place. One, I'm afraid, in a national forest, and it's quite devastating to the not only the fauna, but it's really the animals there, the wild animals. So there's an uncontrollable fire in just outside London in a suburb, but that's nothing to do with, I think that's to do with lightning. But there's some kind of bad fire that is really tearing through neighborhoods, which is sad. France, there's about 8 to 11 all over the place. Germany, about 5. Italy, there's one just near Rome, or it's affecting some of the ancient, not ruins, but ancient churches. There's some kind of ancient building that's devastated by a fire in there. Italy, it's more like that band upwards that's affected by fires. There's about 8 to maybe as much as 10 wildfires there. Greece, maybe about 4 that I see. Spain, and it's mostly outside Madrid. There seems to be another train crash. Anyway, there's could be as much as 18 fires total in Spain. Some are small, but there are about 3 that are quite large and take a long time to control. Portugal, about 3 to 5 in there. Okay, and the heat, I'll address the heat, which is partly to do with because of the droughts, and the high heat actually spark the fires because the fauna isn't getting, they're getting dried out. So we're going to see in Europe again high heat records broken. And as I said, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, that there was an Indian summer, it lasted longer. The heats broke records during the summer, where they're going to exceed again from 1 to 3 degrees, maybe in one area even as much as 5 degrees higher than it should be. That could be near Spain, and mostly in this portion where you're going to get exceeding temperatures. I see a lot of 102s to 105s in France, in England again, high heat 101, maybe to 103 as much, 1 or 2 days. And there are, across the board, there's going to be a high heat records, even broken from the previous records, even last year's and the year before, but even old records, as much as they can. All right. Okay, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. Just quickly, this is a general Europe update, where I'm seeing conflicts again in a lot of countries, but they're conflicts with, it's riots and protests that I'm seeing a lot against the government. Here in Spain, France, Belgium, Germany, a lot there to do with the current government, unfortunately. In London, but these are younger protests, but these are the riots. I know I had already put it out on riots and protests, but these are Belgium, Germany, France, and even in Denmark, and these 3 countries, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, there are a lot, Latvia, Hungary, Austria. They're really to do with fighting about terrorism, that they're not being protected. They're really in fear of bombings and terrorist activities. You're going to see about 5 to 8, could be up to 12, but I hope I'm wrong. Terrorist activity, bombings, about 3 to 5 of those, I'm sure it's going to be 5, are going to be in Paris. The rest are in the suburbs. Belgium, again, I covered all of this, will be pretty active in April. There's one bombing near a railroad or at a railroad station, and then down to it's a state building or something like that. There's a lot of workers there. They're trying to do a bombing there. So in Belgium this is. So I am sorry, but I'm still seeing a lot. I already told you about Italy, a building there on the previous video. And I'm afraid, I don't want to get into that, but anyway, that's basically it. The governments are changing. There's still a lot of unrest and not very happy with the EU. So there's a lot of not riots, but protests on that one. Basically, that's it. One of these countries, I don't know if I want to give that, but anyway, one of these countries, a plane will go down, passenger jet. I'll leave it at that, and I think that's it for now. Thank you.